Well, it appears the plans for the future of Spider-Man just got complex. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Comic Book Nostalgia. I'm CB Nostalgia and we have an update on Spider-Man. Well, as many of you know, Spider-Man No Way Home is currently in production. And although we just got that title reveal, we're all anxiously awaiting the trailer. Clearly, Spider-Man is headed into some sort of multiverse adventure, and now we've got quite the bit of news from the hashtag show. Now, before we break all of this down, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, don't forget about the big giveaway. We're going to give away this PlayStation 5 at 25,000 subscribers. All you have to do to get in on this giveaway is be a subscriber and leave some sort of comment. Well, we woke up this morning to some fairly interesting, well, we'll call it scoops or rumors from the hashtag show. Now, these guys have dropped a lot of stuff that's turned out to be accurate, but like we always say, if it's not coming from Marvel Studios or Kevin Feige directly, or in this case Sony, take everything with a grain of salt. So the report coming from them is pretty interesting and will be huge for Spider-Man. Now, to jump right in, what they are saying is there's going to be a major change to the structure of Spider-Man. Or should we say Spider-Man? This means the plan apparently is to split it into two franchises. One of those will continue the Peter Parker story and join him in college, which is something we talked about here quite a bit and even have heard it'll be based a bit on his Amazing Friends cartoon. The other one will be focused on Miles Morales. And it's said that Marvel is super duper keen on using Miles as part of the Young Avengers project. That has a ton of value if you sort of think about it. Now the article goes on to say that No Way Home is going to provide a very clear roadmap for Spider-Man moving forward in the MCU. Now we actually did talk about the rumor that Spider-Man 4 was filming back to back with this movie, and although that hasn't been confirmed by Marvel, that would play into this idea very nicely. Apparently, Marvel is already looking for writers and directors for these two separate franchises, with Peter and Miles having two very different stories. This raises a ton of questions. With John Watts moving over to the Fantastic Four, that's presumably going to tie up the next 4 to 6 years in him working on that project. This means Marvel will need directors for both franchises, the Peter Parker and the Miles Morales. And this also means the long-awaited casting of Miles in the MCU. Now I gotta say, I love this idea. Spider-Man's origin story in the MCU is, well, vague, to be quite honest, and it would be very easy to tie in a Miles Morales origin story. We already met Aaron Davis in the first Spider-Man movie, and we even got a Miles Easter egg, so he does exist in the MCU. This is only win-win for Marvel and Sony. Everything that the MCU touches is bank, and Sony has not had the same luck on their own. I'm sure they'll continue to develop their own properties over there, and it's still unclear how all of those new characters will cross over with either of these Spider-Men. Sony obviously wants to populate their Spider-Verse as much as possible, but I don't know if Marvel Studios wants to allow their stories to influence MCU storylines. It may very well be the only time Miles actually appears in an MCU story would be those Young Avengers crossover movies. But obviously this is all worked out behind the scenes and we'll have to see what happens. So what do you guys think of Marvel Studios splitting the Spider-Man franchise into two separate legs? One for Peter Parker and one for Miles Morales. Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.